Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be upcycling more of my home decor, so let's get started. For my first project I'm going to give this desk a makeover. I've had this desk for maybe 15 or more years. It was in both of my daughter's bedrooms at one time, so it has some scratches and nail polish and things like that on it. I started by sanding the top. After sanding, I wiped the top down and then applied a coat of stain. Once the stain was dry, I flipped it over and gave the base 2 coats of paint. When the paint was dry, I applied 3 coats of a matte finish polyacrylic to the top. For the drawer, I applied some contact paper to the inside bottom. Next, I glued on a resin piece from the IOD Lock Key Mould. I then painted the resin piece and added a glass knob. For my next project, I'm making over this quilt rack shelf. I started by removing the wood piece that holds your quilt. I then measured it and cut it down to size so it would fit inside the 2 side pieces. After cutting it, I used wood glue and nails to attach it. Next, I cut a wood round in half and then also cut a little off of the bottom of each half. I then gave them a coat of stain. I also stained 4 small wood candle cups that I was going to use for feet. Next, I glued the wood round pieces to the sides of the shelf. I then used more of the stain to cover the area where the hanging bar was removed so it would be less noticeable. Next, I used 2 resin lock pieces and glued a small resin button over the key part and then gave them a coat of paint. When the paint was dry, I used gold gilding wax to highlight the design on the resin. I then glued them to the half circles. Next, I added a small metal tag. I used a little bit of glue along with the nails because the nail heads were a little too small for the holes in the tag. I then glued the feet on to finish it. For my last project, I'm going to get a little artsy. I started by making some resin pieces. I'm using the amazing casting resin that is a 1-to-1 mixing ratio. I have a few molds out because I always mix up more resin than what I need for my projects, so I end up making extra pieces of random things. It comes in handy when you want to make something at a later date and you already have the resin pieces done. For the project, I'm using this metal sign. I laid a stencil on it and then applied some texture paste so the metal would have a raised design. I used spray stencil adhesive on the back of the stencil so it would stay in place when I added the paste. When that was done, I let it dry for about an hour. While the paste was drying, I painted all my resin pieces. I then painted the metal sign. For the resin pieces, I applied gold gilding wax along with copper and silver metallic wax. For the metal sign, I used green metallic wax on the raised design to highlight it. For the back of the sign, I decoupaged a piece of scrapbook paper to it. I then glued on a metal clip and some beaded chain along the edges. Next, I started adding my resin pieces to the front with glue. I just kept layering pieces on until I liked how it looked. For the final piece, I glued on a metal tag that says, "Perfection is overrated." Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I'll see you in the next video.